Yeah, I did change, and I'm really glad I changed.
This one's wife. Flopsicle. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. What's the weather like where you are? What's it been like recently? I know that there are a number of Tudorites who like to talk about the weather in the live chat when there's a premiere, exchanging views about what they've been experiencing. And particularly in the Northern Hemisphere, it's been a pretty decent summer. Certainly where I've been, and I've not been in the UK, I've been elsewhere, it's been pretty hot and the old Tudor town's looking rather good. And naturally, when you're out in the sunshine, you may decide that you need something to cool you down, that you want to slip something cool, perhaps even cold, into your mouth. No, don't do that. That's naughty. You might decide that the most effective thing is to slake your thirst with a long drink of ice cold water, which is not only good for you, but tackles your thirst. Or you might decide that you're going to reach for an ice cold beer, or perhaps a soda. Some of you might decide instead it's ice cream time, or that you're going to have an ice lolly, or popsicle, as our transatlantic cousins are oft describe them as. Whatever it might be, you may well have delighted yourself as you've sat there licking on an ice cream, trying to ensure that it doesn't run down and make your fingers sticky, or that you've tucked into a ice lolly. And again, if it's been particularly hot, you don't want it melting all over you, because not only does that spoil the occasion in terms of denying you some of the deliciousness of the ice lolly that you're having, but you get really sticky fingers as well. But this one's wife has decided that she's going to join the gang when it comes to offering cooling refreshment. Yes, she has. And once again, she's taken to Instagram. Yes, that device that I told you all those months ago that she just simply can't stay away from, she's on it again. Let's have a quick look at the latest reel that was posted on the As Ever Instagram site. What have we got then? Well, first of all, there is the posting, "What's better than a glass of rosé on a sunny day? Rosé popsicles, perchance? Yes, please, and thank you." So now this one's wife appears to be posting herself and answering herself, a little bit like wishing herself happy birthday. The descent into madness continues, it would appear. And there's an also blink and you'll miss it appearance by this one's wife, as she is seen filmed by parties unknown, but ensuring that she is indeed filmed, as she walks with that unusual gait of hers alongside the swimming pool. Yes, crotch thrust forward, vulva in the lead, this one's wife wanders along, mouth open, stupid grin stuck to face, as she carries the tray containing the popsicles. There she goes. It's a short appearance, but we now know that she is back in the zone for making appearances after 3 to 4 weeks of having disappeared, which lends all the more credence to my suggestion that her departure was as a consequence of the recovery from some cosmetic surgery, and also based on my video of yesterday about a birthday nose job. Given the fact that we're now seeing her again suggests that the period of departure has come to a conclusion, and that means we're going to see more of her popping into the Instagram. Oh, what deep joy that is. Thus, she makes a personal appearance, walking in that strange way of hers, as she holds aloft the goodies. But what are these said goodies? Well, as you can see from the overhead shot, she's gone and made some rosé popsicles, which I'm calling flopsicles. Why? Well, first of all, who on earth wants to be using one of these things? When you freeze alcohol, it needs to be colder than 0 degrees. And what tends to happen is you don't really get something that's solid. It's more mushy. So these creations of hers are more akin to a slush than an ice lolly. Just by looking at them, you can see that they've not really frozen properly and that they are going to be closer to slush on a stick. Furthermore, given the alcohol content, they will melt more quickly. Which means, as she's idiotically strolling along by the swimming pool going, "Oh, look at me," what she's delivering is going to be melting. Why didn't she have the popsicles standing in a glass so that as they melted, you could at least catch the watery mixture of alcohol and whatever it else is that she utilised, and then you can at least drink it and it doesn't create a mess and it doesn't go to waste. But no, she doesn't think of that. She lies them down flat. So I should imagine that whoever they're offered to, one of her fellow day drinkers I should imagine, will pick it up and half of it falls off the stick immediately. Oh dear, failure. It looks like with some of them she's put raspberries inside of them as well. Once again, this demonstrates that this woman hasn't got a clue when it comes to the creation of foodstuffs. Ice lollies are pretty simple. You get a mould, you put in the liquid, for instance, you get some orange squash, orange cordial, you dilute it, you pour it in. There you are, and you make an ice lolly at home rather than going and purchasing them. You might use fruit juice, so it's particularly tangy. But this one's wife's decided that, hey, she's going to use her rosé. So if you forked out $30 on one of these preposterous bottles of wine, she's then encouraging you basically to waste it by turning it into some slushy mush. She hasn't got a bastard clue what to be doing with food. She hasn't got the slightest as to how you should present these things. And moreover, what it tells me is this is a dipsomaniac who is attempting to pass off the fact that she needs to be drinking repeatedly and regularly throughout the day as, oh, this is something cute, so it doesn't really count. There are people, it's along the lines of people that have like Jell-O shots. Oh, it's about the Jell-O. No, it's not. It's about the alcohol which you're craftily getting down your neck. Hey, I like a good drink like anybody else might do. But with this one's wife, there is not only this preposterous presentation whereby it doesn't work as an idea because they look mushy and slushy. Secondly, they will melt rather quickly. Thirdly, why have you got them lying on their side? Because they'll disintegrate. But then fourthly, the fact that she's chosen to make popsicles out of wine, to my mind, demonstrates someone who has got a bit of an issue when it comes to booze. But, of course, this one's wife thinks that she is amazing and brilliant, that she's the first person ever to think of rosé popsicles, that she thinks it's cutesy and a great thing to do in order to advertise her wine, and the result is this catastrophe on a plate that she's parading on a tray as she waltzes through, presumably, the environs of her home by the swimming pool, no doubt either going to go and sit and eat them all herself as she swings her oversized feet back and forth, or that she's found a fellow day drinker to consume them with. They aren't popsicles, they are flopsicles. Once again, undermining the attention-seeking nature of this narcissist, her complete lack of talent, and also quite possibly signalling that there's another issue at heart in relation to alcohol. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.